Hello everybody, welcome to another lesson in our Preparing to Apply section. In it, I'll introduce you to the different parts of an application. You might be surprised how many there are, which is why good preparation is key to submitting materials that represent you in the best possible way. Let's begin. Here are a few quick tips before I begin talking about application materials. First, nearly every school now encourages prospective students to apply online. This is really handy and means you can begin an application one day, then go back to it later to add additional materials. It's still possible to apply by mail to most schools, but I'd encourage you to apply online. It's much easier and schools prefer it. Second, it's important to know what materials you'll need to submit when applying to a school and when their application deadline is. Thus, after deciding where you will apply, go to each school's website and take notes about exactly what you'll need to apply and when applications are due. GoStudy's checklist tool is a great way to manage application information like this. Third, it might happen that you'll need to submit one or more application documents, like a final grade report, after a school's application deadline. Schools will let you know during the application process if this is allowed and how to submit late materials. And finally, once you have everything uploaded to a school's application system, actually applying is really easy. You just need to hit the submit button. An application form is what schools use to collect basic information about you, your interests, and your academic background. As I mentioned a minute ago, nowadays most applications are completed online, which makes life much easier. Many schools, more than 600 currently, use what's called the Common Application, or Common App for short. It allows you to complete one online application that can then be sent to a number of different schools. I'll show you how to complete it and other applications in other lessons. For now, just remember that it's really important when completing the application that you provide accurate personal information like your name, date of birth, and home address, since that's what schools use to create immigration documents for you. When entering your name into the application, make sure it perfectly matches how your name is spelled in your passport. Small mistakes can really mess up an application, so be careful. Nearly all schools now charge a fee when you apply. The amount varies from school to school, but is usually between $30 and $90 US. Most application fees can be paid using a credit card, but many schools still also accept a bank check or money order. Application fees are not refundable, and if you don't pay, your application will not be processed. Academic records are official documents issued by schools you have attended. Examples include transcripts, high school reports, graduation certificates, and diplomas. If your academic records are not in English, you'll need a translated copy that has been certified as authentic. In most cases, academic records are sent from your school directly to the institutions to which you are applying. I'll say more about academic records in another lesson. Most schools require you to submit the results of one or more admissions exams, like the SAT or ACT at the undergrad level, and GRE or GMAT at the grad level. I'll say more about these exams in another lesson. You must also submit letters written by people who are familiar with your academic and personal achievements. We call these recommendation or reference letters, and they're a really important part of your application. I'll say more about how to request these letters and from whom in another lesson. Essays, or statements of purpose for grad applicants, are documents you write to explain your background, goals, and interests in studying at a particular school. Writing an essay showcases your creativity and writing skills, and is how you make your case for a school being a good fit for you. Needless to say, they're super important documents, so I'll say much more about them in other lessons. Submitting the results of an English proficiency exam, like IELTS or TOEFL, is how you prove to schools that you can speak, read, and write English well enough to succeed in the classroom. Like other standardized tests, the score you receive will be sent directly to the schools to which you apply. Attending school in the United States is expensive. As a result, your application must also include proof that you or your sponsor have enough money to pay for your studies. I'll say more about this in another lesson. Finally, some schools, usually the most selective ones, also require an interview. That is, a conversation between you and someone in the school's admissions office. The purpose of the interview is to give an admissions officer the chance to speak with you and ask questions about your interest in their school. It also helps them judge your language ability. Many interviews are now conducted online, which is especially helpful if you live in another country. Okay then, that's a list of typical application items. Given that some of them, like test results and your academic records, will be submitted by others, you can now better appreciate why it's important to begin the process of preparing everything well in advance of a school's application deadline. Whatever you do, though, don't be discouraged. The process of collecting and organizing these documents is easier than you think. It just takes a bit of organization and persistence, and I'm confident you can handle that. All right then, on to the next lesson.